First things first, since we're here for today, what are you excited? What's new about Tour of Utah this year?
Well, there's three big things that are new this year. First of all, we added another day of racing, so instead of 6 days, it's going to be 7. We've also we've added the fact that we're going out of state for the first time is a big deal for us. To be able to go to Evanston, Wyoming, and start a stage of the Tour of Utah outside of the borders of the state it's fairly unique. It's not unprecedented. The Tour de France started in Dublin. It started in Corsica. It started in London. In fact, I think it starts in England this year as well. So that's a neat deal for us. And the fact that we've got we're returning back to Southern Utah is a neat thing. The support we received in Southern Utah was just really phenomenal last year. So we felt like the time was right to just go strike while the iron was hot and get back down there and take the race to some of those beautiful Red Rock areas again.
All right, the one you started with was going from 6 to 7 days. Just talk about what that says about the growth of this race. It's bigger and better every year.
Yeah, well, you know, there's a big appetite for it. I think that the cities, the host communities, the venues, the fans, meaning the spectators, as well as the participants, things just continue to grow. It's been a very organic and steady growth, and we haven't been able to visit all the communities that we want to get to, and we figured that by adding another day of racing, we would be able to move around the state a little bit more freely and not be so rushed. And so that's a big part of it, and you'll probably see us be able to take a little bit more advantage of that in future years with some longer term planning.
Talk about each of the new host venues you're adding. What do they bring?
Well, I started with Evanston. Not that the race starts in Evanston, but that's one that's easy to draw attention to. It's unique. I think it's a nice storyline, the fact that we're going to be outside of the state of Utah for the start of one stage, and that allows us to access the Mirror Lake Highway, which will take us up to 10,000 feet in northern Utah. We raced at 10,000 feet down in southern Utah last year, but to be able to do that up here in northern Utah and then come down the Mirror Lake Highway and finish in Camas, that's a really neat opportunity. That's one of the stages that's been on the drawing board for a long time, and we were finally able to thread the needle this year and get that put together. And Powder Mountain is a first-time venue as well, and the neat storyline there is the fact that it's another ski resort. It's another opportunity. You think about the fact that we'll finish at Powder Mountain, we'll finish at Snowbird, we'll finish at Park City, and it's not us forcing anything. It's very natural. I mean, these are places that are beautiful. They're places that we as Utahns recreate, and it's something that Europeans and people around the United States want to consume in terms of the beauty of the venues, the television, the scenery, and so it's a match made in heaven.
Being from a small town, I've always liked Tour of Utah in that some events are downtown Salt Lake, they're big city, and then you got places like Camas that, you know, I don't know how many people live there, but it's not a lot.
Well, it's one of the unique things about this event is I've often been quoted as saying that, you know, at Miller Sports Properties, with our Utah Jazz product, we play at Energy Solutions Arena. If you want to watch a Utah Jazz game in person, you got to come to the arena to see it. Miller Motorsports Park, same thing. If you want to watch the racing that takes place there, you got to come out to the venue. Bees, same story. Tour of Utah is different in that there is no fixed venue. We can take this race to the people. So we can race in Lehi, Utah. We can race in Panguitch, Utah. We can race at Powder Mountain, Snowbird, you know, Park City, all over Utah. And that's one of the things that I think is so exciting is anticipating where the race is going to go from year to year.
How cool is it to return to Southern Utah? I know that was a dream to get there, and for it to be successful enough that you're going back.
Well, it's as I said in the press conference remarks, Cedar City was just we couldn't have chosen a better host venue to start the Tour of Utah last year. The energy down there, the enthusiasm, the support, it was just a great way to kick the race off because it really just continued to build throughout the week. And so we're hopeful, in fact, we fully expect that energy even reaches higher levels this year now that Cedar City knows what the Tour of Utah looks like and how they can embrace it even more. And we get more of the community out and we have more people travel in to watch the race from out of state. It's going to be an exciting summer for sure.
All right, last question. 10-year anniversary. Just talk about how far it's come. I mean, from, like you said, from a regional 2-day at Thanksgiving Point.
Yeah.
Basically a circuit race, right?
Yeah.
How far it's come.
Well, the race has certainly grown up a lot. The fact that it was just a 2-day event, even as recently as 10 years ago, and now here we are as a 7-day event with, same teams and same riders that you watch at the Tour de France or the Vuelta a España or the Giro d'Italia. Those are the Grand Tours, what they call the Grand Tours. Those are the Super Bowls of cycling, if you will. But here in the United States, we've got the Tour of California, the Tour of Colorado, and the Tour of Utah, and they're kind of the United States version of the 3 Grand Tours. And for us to be mentioned in the same breath as those big races, and to have riders that have ridden in the Grand Tours of Europe come and race in the Tour of Utah and talk about the scenery, talk about the difficulty, talk about the spectators, and say that we're every bit as good as those races, is very gratifying to think that, as I said, we're now breathed in the same sentences as they are. It's great.